Pour ne pas perdre contact avec notre famille du taiko, nous avons entrepris des rencontres hebdomadaires tous les dimanches matins. Nous avons une séance de radio taïso animée par notre chère Sanae-san pour tous nous dégourdir ensemble. Par la suite, nous avons créé le programme pilote, version pandémie, pour réintégrer le taiko et d'autres activités artistiques, physiques et techniques dans nos vies. Ces activités sont proposées et guidées autant par les membres d'Arashi que ses étudiants. Ces rencontres Zoom valorisent le partage des connaissances et le talent de chacun. Elles permettent également de briser la solitude des membres de notre communauté, en gardant un lien fort entre nous.
大阪出身の大脇美京です。演奏曲の名前は和、和太鼓の和、調和、ハーモニーの和、平和、ピースの和です。すべてポジティブな意味合いが含まれています。みんなの心が一つになれるよう、少しでもたくさんの笑顔が生まれるよう、心に響く太鼓という思いでできた曲です。楽しんでいただけると、嵐太鼓一同幸せです。では、行ってみましょう。
Around this time of year, as we have most years since 2001, Ra would usually be found glimmering with sweat in Allen Gardens, surrounded by thousands of sparkling queers as we drum our hearts out during the Dyke March rally. This year, we find ourselves at home instead, far from each other and yourselves, reflecting on isolation. Physical isolation in response to COVID-19, and the isolation facilitated by systems of oppression designed to keep us apart, including settler colonialism, capitalism, and the carceral state.
This year, we find ourselves missing all the ways Taiko has brought us, performers and audiences, closer together. The way our bodies held the hope and the memory of radical community-led care and change. We also find ourselves not only isolated, but exhausted. Some of us are grieving, or ashamed, or numb. Some of us are wondering how to gather our energies for the ongoing connected struggles in which we are embedded. Taiko has often been our teacher in these movements.
When we kiai, the shouting you hear us do when we drum, we call up ki, life energy, and intention from each other and from the land. This travels through our bodies and then expresses how we are there to encourage each other, protect each other, and invite the same participation from those around us.
When Raw alum kiai with us from the front of the Dyke March crowd, we feel held by our teachers.
When our queer community shouts and hollers, meeting the beat of our taiko, we remember we are not alone in our shared pain and strength.
When our arms and legs are about to give out and we hear voices reaching us in the struggle, we feel connected to our insistence on collective survival.
To us, the sound of kiai resonates through our bodies and conjures feelings of solidarity.
Yet so much of how we can be with each other right now feels digital and disembodied. As faces behind screens, we can easily forget that solidarity is not limited to Facebook posts, well-articulated tweets, or hashtags. solidarity begins in the gut and in the heart, in the places where we connect to feeling and sensing.
We offer the sound of the drums in this video as an invitation to be curious about solidarity through the feelings and sensations that arise in the body, to resist isolation by drawing on memories of connection and safety, and to access our inherent capacities to be guided by care.
My name is Kiyoshi Nagata. I'm the founder and artistic director of Nagata Shachu, which is based in Toronto. Our group was supposed to have our second concert of last season called Taiko and Turntables with a DJ, scratch DJ artist. And the show was sold out, and we had rehearsed mostly everything, and we had to cancel that concert. So that was the first blow. And we were also engaged to perform a return engagement with the Esprit Orchestra playing Monoprism by Ishimaki at Corner Hall in Toronto. That got canceled, as well as about 5 or 6 other shows that were to occur throughout the year. Probably in about 1 week, we lost about $20,000 worth of engagements. So it was quite a hit. We shut down our studio, we shut down our classes. Then in around end of June, some of the restrictions lifted, and our core group got together and practiced outside for about 3 months, maybe. At the same time, we were supposed to do some park shows called Arts in the Park. Those got canceled. Luckily, so a lot of stuff got canceled. I mean, like everyone else, we created an augmented reality poster, which was really cool. We developed a poster that had icons on it, and you could point your phones at the icon, and then a video would appear of our individual performers, and they would talk about who they were and the drums they played. So these markers could be used in the future on programs or on posters, and people could point their phone, and then the poster comes to life. We also created a website called virtualtaiko.com, which is a resource for people wanting to learn more about taiko. But the corner piece of that was an app that we developed with 3 technologists, where any cell phone or mobile device you could turn into a taiko. You place the taiko on a flat surface, and you plug in your headphones. And by hitting the surface that the cell phone is resting on, it triggers taiko sound samples. So you could actually just build homemade drumsticks or bachi with like utensils or rulers, and you can actually play. And so we had created embedded videos, so you could learn taiko using your cell phone as a taiko, and follow a guided lesson. And we created 3 lessons with that. And we in the summer, we also created a 360-degree immersive video performance and immersive sound performance outdoors. So it puts the viewer in the center of the performance, and as they're turning their cell phone watching it, they can see different aspects of the performance. So we had all this kind of technological stuff going on, and we used it for our Arts in the Park performance. And also, we were doing school performances that were funded by the Trillium Foundation. And because we couldn't no longer do in-person school performances, we used a virtual taiko to continue teaching taiko online to students in the Toronto District School Board. So the summer was very productive. It was very busy. And then everything shut down in November in Toronto. We had a bad third wave. Toronto shut down from beginning of November and has just started opening up. So our core group did not meet for that length of time. At the same time, we were teaching apprentices and we had to start teaching them virtually. So only 2 weeks ago did our core group and our apprentices finally get together. It was a year or 13 months that we could all meet, because before we were meeting in kind of smaller groups, chunks of kind of doing like sectionals in a way. And it was outdoors basically. So that was kind of what our year looked like.
大丈夫です。
大丈夫です。おかげさまで。Yeah, 2020 was supposed to be a really busy year for us. We were supposed to be doing a lot of tours in the States, but it all just got canceled as of March. We were going to go off to Kentucky and Oklahoma. That was our first thing. And then we were going to be, the two of us were going to be touring through Minnesota for a libraries tour in the spring. And then in the fall, the full group was going to be touring through Montana, but all that was shut down. And we have the library tour rescheduled, but none of the other things have been rescheduled yet.
While we were, here, we also lost access to our rehearsal space. Luckily, we found another space we were able to use for a few months. And so during that time, we were able to focus on composing some pieces for just two people because we are in the same bubble, we live in the same household. So it was an opportunity to work on downscale pieces for two, and also to build our relationship with the instruments, with the drums, because we were alone with them and not with our other group members or students. And we tried to really focus on maintaining live performances in some way rather than go to a video format.
Our students did want to have some taiko in their lives during the whole pandemic, so we ended up starting to do a Zoom class. We have another member in our group that also teaches, so she did the Monday classes and I ended up doing the Friday classes. And there were a few grants available from the province. One was called Connecting at a Distance. So we applied for that to so that we could do a live performance at this place called Old Grace Co-op. And we did a performance in the courtyard. So it was a live performance and we were able to get a grant for that. I also applied for another a grant through the province, not through the Arts Council, but this was a provincial grant where they wanted to provide people activities online during the last part of the pandemic, in the last this last winter. So I ended up doing another Zoom sort of taiko composition course with people, and I just I didn't really advertise it quite much. I didn't advertise it a lot. I just advertised it through Facebook and through our mailing list, and had about 9 or 10 people join up with that. And I had 3 sessions, three classes, 3 groups, and each group had about 6 one-hour sessions.
And they all composed a song.
Yeah.
With your help, Hiroshi arranged the lines that they came up with, and I thought that worked out really well, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it came up. Yeah. So these people would come up. Each person in the group would come up with a line, and then they would teach each other the line. And I ended up arranging the lines into a sort of a piece. And then I would transpose that onto a GarageBand using the taiko sounds and create a song for that. And then with the video of them doing their lines on Zoom, I was able to also have it like give the appearance that they're actually drumming on the taiko and creating those sounds on the drums. So it was kind of an interesting little collage that I was able to make from that.
And other than that, we focused on small performances, like in backyards, small gatherings. We are on a roster of something called Curbside Concerts, and that started out, I think, in Alberta. Mm-hmm. The school also, we didn't do a lot of school programs. A lot of those were canceled, but some went ahead with them. So actually this past spring, we were in 4 different schools teaching. And we had to do that differently, sanitize the drumsticks in between and all of that. But it went well, and the kids were really hungry for that kind of experience after this last year and a half.
Hi everyone, it's Carly here from Edmonton, Alberta, checking in for Kita no Taiko. We are good. We're fine. And we have been good over this hard couple of years, and we're very grateful for that. Like many others across the country, we went into lockdown and we had to stop practicing for that time. But we were fortunate in that we were able to continue to rent our space in order to store the drums, even though we weren't able to practice. So we're very grateful for that. We also kept in touch over times of closure. We tried online lessons for a good stretch, a few months, where we met over Zoom and we played different things around the house. Some people had gomidaiko, some people used the floor or the couch, or my favorite, which was a foam roller, which gives you a deeper sound and you can hit it pretty hard. So we tried to meet for online lessons to keep up our fitness as well. We also tried to adapt to the challenges of practicing online. One of our members developed software for a metronome app that we could all listen to at the same time rather than listening to one person's play, because then it'll be delayed. We also utilized playing together while watching concert footage so that we have one source from which we can hear, and then we muted ourselves at home and we would just play along. We also kept in touch socially using different tech platforms. We got together on YouTube Premiere to watch our old concerts, and in Premiere you can text each other in a chat so we could talk about it while watching it. In fall 2020 there was a brief window where we were able to practice, so we went back to the center and we practiced wearing masks and distancing in the space and sanitizing the space. And in that time we actually resolved to record an online concert, and we actually got most of the pieces recorded there at our center before we had to shut down again. We were also able to deliver some online workshops during spring of 2021. We had our first practice last night. We're still wearing masks for the month of July, and after that we will check in with everyone. You know, now we have to sort of get back into it and get back into shape, so we need to balance that with our physical wellness and being gentle on ourselves. So we hope that everyone across the country stays healthy and happy, that you're able to reconnect with your group, and that you're able to immerse in the loud taiko sounds in your environment, and we can continue to connect.
年は悲しみお目にかかれない代わりにコンピュータ画面でお顔を目にかけましょう手洗いマスク人とは離れてタオル街では集まれないけどタオルさえ心を忘れずけずご近所の仲間のご協力お願いします
Hello, I'm Bonnie Soon, and I am keeping well. Financially, this has been a very challenging year for the group and performing members whose livelihoods have been severely impacted by the shutdown of live performance and teaching activities. Artistically, we have been coping by developing virtual programming and producing some projects that have been on our to-do list for many years. During the shutdown, we persevered to survive. Since April 2020, Jason Overy, musical director, and I have been drumming at about 25% of normal activity level. We rehearsed on our own, then briefly came together to perform, create, and teach our community and school programs together. When COVID guidelines permitted, Jordy Riley and I have been sharing Uzume Taiko technique and repertoire from our studio with adult students for our outreach program. Our Mitchell Island Taiko studio became our workplace, and we conducted activities from there during the pandemic. Activities included producing Facebook live stream community performances, pre-recorded virtual online community performances, weekly Zoom Taiko classes, along with limited enrollment in-person Taiko classes when COVID guidelines permitted, writing and publishing a Taiko drumming basics book, a 30-page music book covering Uzume Taiko pedagogy developed over the past 20 years, producing a video tutorial series of Taiko drumming basics to support the 22 exercises in the book, developed a virtual Taiko drumming workshop program for school students, produced video tutorials to support the virtual Taiko drumming workshop program for schools and the community, led live Zoom virtual Taiko drumming workshops for 34 BC schools in the 2020-2021 school year, supported the Uzume Taiko Community Players Christmas Zoom performance for Richmond, led Zoom Taiko workshops for corporate and community events, and during Asian Heritage Month, we produced the Uzume Taiko and Friends Intimate Portraits online event series, 3 60-minute collaboration concerts with the Orchid Ensemble, Silk Road Music, Loretta Leung Dance Company, and the Vancouver Contemporary Chinese Dance Company, Tetsu Taiko, and the Uzume Taiko Community Players, and all programs streamed on our YouTube channel. And they were spaced a couple weeks to a month apart. Going forward, we will begin work on the Uzume Taiko Digital Songbook, a video collection of original compositions created over Uzume Taiko's 30-year history of performances and tours. From there, we'd like to publish a collection of Uzume Taiko classic songs in book form for Taiko enthusiasts to learn and enjoy playing. We will continue to learn to adapt, offering both in-person and digital experiences using our rehearsal studio as a home base to generate teaching and performance activity from. We are interested in sharing our love of drumming with people of all ages, and will adapt our practice and method of delivery to meet the public's needs as best we can.
す。